It's YouTube. It's live. No, nobody here just yet. But it's live. One person.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatima, Coach Fatima.
All right. Give us a second. We are setting up and everything like that. Welcome to our RMIC Q&A live. We're actually inviting all of our members, our followers, all that other fancy great stuff right now to join in our live Q&A. We usually do a live Q&A before our RMIC on Sundays, but because we are doing our RMIC live Q&A, we're actually inviting everyone else to join as well, especially since it's the last live of the month, or the last Sunday live of the month. So we're going to do a Q&A. We have questions that came to us from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, our support at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com email address as well. And we ask you guys to ask us your questions, ask the questions that you want to know, ask more questions about polygyny, marriage in general, all that other good stuff. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments or send them to support at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. All right.
Here's that G. They can see it.
All right.
Yeah, G.
Once again, assalamu alaikum, peace, because some people are just now joining and connecting. It's your favorite marriage, polygyny, and relationship coaches. I'm Coach Nyla.
Coach Fatima.
And Coach Nazir is behind the scenes, and he'll join us in a little bit. Just sharing on the platforms. And if you guys, make sure you guys are sharing, because sharing is caring. So yes, make sure you are sharing to your groups, to your page, all that other good stuff. We have some really great information for you guys today. This is our Q&A, our live Sunday Q&A, especially with our RMIC members, our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle. So we're super excited about that. And we go live every week with our RMIC members. So if you guys are not part of the RMIC or our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, make sure you guys check it out. outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM for relationship mastery. So yeah, because it's a whole lot more than what you will be seeing today. We give you guys a sneak peek of a little piece of what our RMIC members get. So yes.
Hey, IG, we see you.
Hey, so okay. So
Welcome.
one of the questions come from the sister. She says, this is for Coach Fatima. She said she asked a question before about getting used to the whole polygyny marriage part. She asked her husband to understand it. She said her English is a little broken, so I'm kind of trying to make it out a little bit. And she actually stated that. She said her English is a little broken. She said she it's very hard for her, and she told him that she have to get used to it because she feel that she's losing her husband. She's like, he would like another sister, and he would get close and intimate. So that's what she's feeling in her. And she's feeling. She said, now at the moment she know herself, and she knows she will cry and sleep bad. That's why she told him that. She said she asked for him to be with the new wife one day in the first week when they're just married, and in the second week for 2 days or maybe 3. But she said she don't know, but she thinks this is a way to make it easier for her to accept this. But she's wondering, is this a weird way of getting used to polygyny? Because she don't even know if she would even ever get used to polygyny. So she was like, she needs some advice, some help.
Well, I'm gonna have to get on you a little bit, sis. Not too much, but one thing that I learned in polygyny is not to unknowingly or knowingly try to take rights from the other wife or from my co-wife. So if she agrees upon certain conditions, fine. But if she doesn't, you can't remove her time from her in and of yourself. Polygyny, especially in Islam, does not work that way. We're not allowed as Muslims to, it doesn't feel like you're robbing someone, but you're indeed stopping them from having their rights as a wife as well. It's very, because see, I kind of look at it this way: would I want that done to me? Just generally, would I want someone to say, well, now again, if she agrees to those conditions, then that's fine. You can make it customizable to your family, but the brother has a different position than you have. So we have to respect everybody's role, including your husband. And he could say, I'm going to do this evenly and fair. If your co-wife might not agree to those conditions of just having one night and then you get 2 or 3 or maybe even 4. So we can't take their rights from them because they're given to them by Allah Ta'ala. So we don't step on his toes. He always wins. So with our family, for example, it is agreed upon by all 3 of us that it's every other day. But our husband sees us every day. So we've agreed upon that. Now, before there's an agreement, that's different, but if there's a set time and agreement, you have to stick to that. And your husband's the one that's in the middle, and he's allowed to say, hey, we're going to give everybody their time because that's what he must do. The time must be shared equally. So I would advise you very strongly not to engage in this thinking of, well, I want this and she can have what's left of what I don't want. It diminishes her role as wife. So whatever my thing or my energy is, whatever is going to make it easiest for everyone that's involved. That's the man, the wives, the children, not just me, because whether we see suffering or not, when we're thinking about ourselves, it's happening. So if we say, well, I just want you to be here 3 times and that's it, and then 2 over here, you got to think about who is that affecting? Who is that affecting before you ask for such things? So just be very careful about, I don't want to say timeshare because that sounds like something in Florida that goes on down there. But the sharing of time.
Infringing on anybody else's rights.
Yeah.
And we understand that, we have our feelings. Feelings, that's a natural thing. Natural jealousies, natural, feeling like you might be losing something or things like that. That's where the communication comes in, and not just only the communication of saying, well, this is how I feel, and that's just the way it is. It's also, when it comes to communicating, you have to listen as well, and also understand the big picture, not just only your side. So just like my co-wife said, you want to be careful with trying to infringe on someone else's rights, because what the husband, his role is seeing the big picture and being fair and being just to each wife, because just as much as you are his wife, she is his wife as well. So yeah, alhamdulillah. Awesome. So and then the other question is, another question is, I just watched the video. Oh, okay. So this is on the video. This, if you guys haven't seen it, you guys gotta check it out. A co-wife did a video of a blog, and as well as a blog post on narcissism. And yes, it was awesome. So if you guys haven't watched it, check it out. And someone had a question about it. She said it was pointing out red flags. The video got her to point out red flags, or at least helped her see some red flags. So if the co-wife openly tells you from jump she's open and want this relationship, but also is selfish and territorial, do you continue to pursue? Do I continue to pursue? I have patience, but the maturity level, I believe, will come with time. But I'm asking how much time. We are all living in one household.
Yeah, that's a lot. But I just can think about when we were communicating or whatever. We didn't rush, and my co-wife did not push me, didn't rush me didn't like back up and dump all this stuff in one day. It wasn't like that. It took its natural course, and I had to be patient every single day and just trust that we both had healthy intentions and that it was going to work out, but we couldn't rush it. So we didn't push each other. That was really, really big. And I remember my grown daughters appreciated that. And I didn't even know they were even like
Allahu
thinking along
Akbar,
those terms,
Allahu
but they thought it was
Akbar.
so good that the time was taken that needed to be taken, and things were happening rather slowly. They could have happened a little quicker now that I look back on it, but it helped everyone kind of get into position and get used to and take this time and embrace the process. So I've seen wives like unload on each other and just ask question after question after question to the point where the co-wife doesn't want to talk anymore because they feel interrogated. And I didn't have that, but that helped my healing because I didn't have all these questions. Well, how do you feel about it? What should I do? It wasn't like that. So respecting each other's space is really, really big. And I think you were talking about that. Coach Nyla was actually training about how not to expect things in return. Right, that's big because you'll get yourself all excited, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get close, and then somebody pulls back, and then you get lost, and you go, what happened?
Right.
But that not expecting things in return, like just do it because you really, really feel like you want to reach out, but know that you might not get the response that you're looking for, and that's okay though. That doesn't mean you'll never get it.
Right.
See, that's what we went through.
And that's what she said. She definitely said she had patience. She said with the maturity level, and she believed it'll come with time. Here's the interesting thing too. You guys talk about how you live in one household. If that is an issue, like as far as like boundaries and different things like that, that is definitely something, guys, we always suggest you speak with your husband about.
Yeah.
Because
and
set these boundaries. And set these boundaries because when it comes down to it, my co-wife and I, people ask us a lot, and we've got videos on it. We've told you guys over and over again. We do not live in the same house, but we live very, very close, walking distance actually from each other, which is a great thing. I don't think I would have it any other way. I like her being close.
That'd be hard on our family to do too.
Like that. But the thing is, we do set, these boundaries because regardless of if it's co-wives or anything like that, but even with a husband and wife, they have to set certain boundaries. He may need to be doing something, or he may need some time to unwind, and she may need to do something. She may need some time to unwind. It's a lot of different moving pieces when it comes to that thing. So even living in the same household can cause a strain on these different relationships.
It's a lot to juggle.
And we've seen different relationships. Now we've seen people who've lived in the same household and everything like that, but we still have yet to see a polygynous family that live in the same household that really is getting the full benefit.
I was like, what are you gonna say, Nyla?
Benefit, right? Of their relationship, their marriage, because I really do think that privacy, this individual privacy, also is individual privacy is also the couple's privacy. It's a big deal when having a successful relationship, successful marriage, and even a successful relationship with your co-wife, because it's not sometimes the really close proximity feeds into a lot of the imaginations that we can have. So so I say if so when it comes down to it, if that is an issue, make sure you guys talk to your husband, or talk to your husband about that. Because that can cause some of the issues. But if you're saying you're patient and you understand these things will come with time, that's that mature part of saying that I can be patient. This is going to come with time, and give them that. Okay, we have one question that says, Assalamu alaikum. Sister's about to learn that. Walaikum assalam to her. Says, I would like to know how you both came about making the decision to first meet. So recently, my husband of 10 years married a second wife. Our relationship so far has been respectful and only kind words. However, I cannot imagine meeting her face to face. Mind you, I have known this person for 10 years. Also, and deep down inside, I feel betrayed by her, given that the two had a haram relationship before their marriage. Oh, okay.
That escalated quickly for me.
Because it was like when I saw it,
that.
yeah, because I was like, oh, they've been respectful and everything. So that's that cordial part that, you know, they stay cordial. I mean, they've been cordial, but she said she can't not imagine.
That's a little different, sis.
Yeah.
That's a lot, because if the relationship was haram and you already have, you know, feelings about that,
Mhm.
that can carry over into you not liking this sister. You know, that's tough.
Okay, and then how we came about making the decision to first meet. I mean, well, we knew each other.
Yeah, we already knew each other.
But as far as like, I guess, building our relationship, I would just say that because that part doesn't apply of the decision how we came to first meeting each other, because we knew each other before. However, what
As
you know,
wives.
how, you know, yeah, how
That
we
part.
built
As
our
wives.
relationship to where it is now. That decision came with Coach Fatimah.
Who the fuck it?
And I'm saying that because, you know, you can't force a person to
That's speaking to that other question. Exactly.
yeah, you can't force a person to do what you want them to do. So yes, get in a little bit so you can see you. You can't force a person to do what you want them to do, and you give them their time.
Yeah.
I know that I knew the relationship that I wanted to have with Coach Fatimah, and I felt that, you know, eventually she'll
come around.
relationship with me. So when it comes down to it, it's like I gave her time, I gave her space. But like I said, when it came to, it was her decision that ultimately allowed us to get here, because I was there, and it was it takes two people. So when she was ready, she reached out. We had a beautiful lunch, and you know, that's, you know, it's all she knows.
Rest is polygamous history.
Exactly.
I just don't let the show. It's Coach Nazir.
Oh my God. There it is.
And going even a little bit into that is that it's communication and really expressing, especially from the husband's point of view, what you want. Period. You have to, you know, really say what your vision is. So after Coach Fatimah and I had spoken a number of different times about it, and really we all were focused on personal development and growth, we were able to really discuss it and kind of what, you know, we wanted things to look like and so on. So then, you know, kind of the olive branch came after that, but it took, you know, some discussing back and forth, going, you know, kind of seeing what the vision was, trying to get what's called the buy-in, if you will. So it's, you know, it's a lot of different moving parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
the
remember what the buy-in was.
No, the buy-in means that
No, I
you buy into
know.
the vision.
No, I know. I'm just like thinking back on it. Like,
It wasn't a specific
Life
thing.
is
It was a
dream.
process.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
yeah.
Now,
it
Sharon,
was.
or Sharon states relating to that, she said it's resentment that carries over, which is not on
Mhm.
the sis asking question, it's on the husband really, that you can carry the resentment for with the relationship prior to, and so on like that.
Whatever, yeah.
So indeed. And there's a number of different layers that we're not gonna be able to cover in a short Q&A with that in particular.
Yeah.
All right, it's one thing to meet somebody, and then of course
Right.
there's a whole another level of betrayal and other things that go on with that need to be owned up to and dealt with, and you know, other healing that kind of has to cover that. It's not just a simple fact of husband married somebody else, how did we meet? Nah, it goes a whole lot deeper than that, especially with someone that was likely a friend, it sounds like, and trying to have you to be the one to adjust and change. So again, it's a little bit deeper. It goes more into our relationship mastery, where we can kind of peel back some of those layers. It won't be a quick thing there. So we're gonna move on to the next one, inshallah. Next question.
Okay.
And if you have a question while we're live, because we're going to some different questions that have already been asked, feel free to put a number of different question marks before it so we can locate it quickly. because I'm looking at kind of going back and forth between at least Facebook and YouTube and see a little bit of IG. So if you have any questions, just put a bunch of question marks, and then we'll work to address them. Okay. All right. So a question says, this person either is newly married or going to get married, and now's a holiday season is coming upon people now. Not for us particularly, we don't celebrate any of these things, but we call it more the shopping season. But it's upon us at the end of the year, different holidays around, whether people celebrate them or not. And she looked like she's an incoming wife. So the question is, since her potential husband or new husband hadn't contacted her and already has other stuff going on with his relatives and family during the season, she feels kind of left out, kind of kicked to the curb or the back burner, if you will. Is not, it's kind of feeling like a side chick, mistress, somebody like that, because either you're a new wife or a fiance and you're not part of the family festivities with going around to different homes and stuff like that. So, how do you deal with something like that is the question. And concerns about the longevity of the marriage, if something like this is going to continue over time, or is it going to get better, and stuff like that affecting her concern about it. So what say you?
Well, she's saying she wants to be around the family. I think I remember. I asked our aunt. She's since passed away. She wouldn't bring Coach Nazir's uncle to different family festivities, and I thought that was really strange. They've been married for 20 years, and I said, "Why don't you do that?" And she said, "I don't want to do that to him because of how they would treat him, because they didn't really like him as much as she would want them to." So she was like, for him, the dinner would be awkward, or would be this, that, or the third. And I never heard someone say something like that before. And I didn't think about it, how he would experience it. And was he ready to be in that environment? It's kind of how I took it. So if you do want to be around, and I can imagine that you would, because I think a lot of times, especially in polygyny, and we have co-wives, and then we're their co-wives too. Even if we're the initial wife, we're still a co-wife. And we think about those awkward moments where we might be around our husband's family, the both of us, and then it's like tense or it's like awkward. Think about, first of all, are you ready to do that? Like, have you thought about it deeper than just merely just being there? Because we've been in situations where we were at family homes and there's both of us, and then we're having a good time, and then everybody's looking at us crazy, but we're good. So, because we know we have each other, and we know we're family regardless of anybody else's opinion on that. We still are. So I'm not going to act like I'm not family to my co-wife and she's not family to me. So, but I did have to think, well, going into that, it might be awkward, it might be tense, people might judge, and it might be a good time. But what is your feeling about being there, or how you might be treated? And are you ready to be in an environment where it might feel a little tense? And I would just say, I try to find the person in the room that wants to have a good time and smile and laugh, and be good energy. And I try to gravitate toward that person. But I definitely would ask, I have a coughing fit. I would definitely ask, you ready for, I have something. I just need to jump and drink it.
And another thing about being secretive, it seems secretive. Here's the thing, being able to communicate those feelings and to not be okay. We do these things as women to because the whole comfort and what is the word I'm looking for when you nurture, these different things that we like to do. So we like to make the environment nice and happy and, easy for other people. And sometimes in making the environment easier for other people, we cause undue stress and unnecessary stress within ourselves, which can in turn turn into resentment to other people, which could be a fiance, a husband, or anything like that. So the thing is to value yourself enough to not say, oh, well, I'm okay with being a secret, or I'm okay with things being on the hush hush or the down low for this moment. For this moment, I'm okay with it. But then when something else comes up, when you want it to not be secret, then it's an issue. Because if it's an issue, then it has been an issue, and it is an issue. So don't what is the word? Don't downplay, your feelings and your value and things. And it's crazy because I'm gonna say something that sounds really weird, but it reminds me of the movie Ratatouille. Where the mouse, if anybody's seen Ratatouille, it's the mouse that was a chef and
Watch
he had
it.
whatever.
Watch
A rat. I'm sorry, it wasn't a mouse, it was a rat. So the rat didn't want the guy who he was controlling or helping out, he didn't want him to let it be known that he was being kind of controlled by a rat. And then when the guy got famous for, being related to this world renowned chef and all this other stuff, and he was now famous, he got upset when the guy didn't give him the credit. And it was like, wait, so it's these type of things. I know it sounds like really crazy, but sometimes we got to be careful of what we are oh my gosh, I almost sound like what my mom said, what you are willing to put up with. I'm saying, because she made that statement before. You got to be careful with that, because then if you're putting that as if you're laying that as the foundation for your relationship, and now you're questioning what your marriage is going to look like later, remember that you also had a hand in creating that. So you want to make sure that you are speaking how you feel, and don't shortchange yourself. If you want him to acknowledge you, if you want these things to be done, then state that at the beginning. Don't especially if that's what this is what you want in the long haul. This is what you want. I don't know why I said long haul, because I do not like that word. In the long run, because it's like when you haul or something, like it's something really heavy in the long haul. So, state that and state those things, and then but make sure you're communicating these things, and don't shortchange yourself. That's the long and the short that I can give to it.
And in doing that with the communication part, it goes back to your husband. All right, your husband or your fiance or whatnot. If you're your fiance, then you really don't have much until the marriage happens. Once the marriage happens, you're officially good to go. Then, then you go to family functions. It has to go to family function. But if you're the fiance, he's already married, you're the fiance, not really until it happens, you become the wife, do you really get elevated to that honor, if you will, if that makes sense. But if you're already married and it's brand new, then again, that discussion can help, because that communication sets the ground. So, like, for example, with my relatives, I don't really care much for my relatives' opinions. All right, I don't care. Never really. I haven't cared. Think about this. I'm a Muslim man. I've been Muslim now over 25 years. All right, so my name, and I changed my name shortly after becoming Muslim. So my name for more than half my life, for most of my entire life, has been Nazir al-Mujahid. All right, so it's been Nazir. So for those people who still have not learned over the last 2.5 decades to call me Nazir, they might call me by my previous name or something like that. It means they really don't know me. Okay, so when you change your entire lifestyle from what you used to believe in worship with religion, and all the hell that breaks loose, being raised in the West and coming from Black religious families, all right, or Puerto Rican religious families like myself, from both sides, and all these shots being taken at you, you really don't care much. You know, you change your eating habits, your diet habits, change your function when it comes to being an entrepreneur or a traditional job or schooling or true self-education. All of these different things, you kind of build up a thick skin for, and it's not of much concern to you. But what is of concern is your family. So your spouse, your children, what you're trying to build yourself. So in having the communication and saying what your expectations are is important, because what it basically sounds like to me as a husband is that you want him to obviously be proud of you, not to hide you regardless. You might not care for your mother-in-law or grandmother-in-law or cousins or aunties who, you may not know him whatsoever. He might not even like them, but you at least want to have the opportunity to be there. Now, whether or not it's going to be something pleasant or not, up to you. I'll be willing to take shots, because people are going to be people. All right. And some people are just going to be devils. It is what it is. So again, it goes to that having that conversation, and then also discussing the vision really that you have and that you want to really build together as a family. So hopefully that helped. Yeah, a brother asked a question. Why do men have tendency for multiple wives whilst let's be over the pond, while most women are against this, but also some of them accept to be a co-wife? He's confused, saying, why do men have a potential for, tendency for multiple wives, while women are like, no, but some are like, yes. What's that, yo?
It depends on who you ask. And, it's like Coach Nyla was talking about, like I saw it more as, she would be more open to it coming from such a large blended family. It's like something that she knew how to do. And me being raised alone in a house with my 2 grandparents and my uncles. So I had a large family because of my dad and his women and his kids and my, my siblings, but they lived with their moms and I didn't. So I didn't get to see them every single day. And my oldest brother lived in Colorado for years. So I felt like the oldest for years. So I didn't know how to blend in, and I wasn't trying to do what my parents did at all. So that was the chink in my armor though. So when polygyny came into my life, I'm like, okay, now what do I do with it? But if my co-wife has an experience of, being in a blended family, being the oldest of 9, and the accepting of and being able to execute blending a family came easier to her than it did me. Not that it was completely easy, but her understanding was better than mine. I was like, okay. I didn't have to worry about my siblings too much because they were at their mom's house. And they would visit. It wasn't a lifestyle for me to be able to, I babysat them, I changed their diapers, but by the end of the day, they would go. And I think that our different experiences and our raising and our knowledge and our educating ourselves and trying to understand it. And then you start to go, okay, as a Muslim, I see why this makes sense. Or I see why I would want this for myself and for my co-wife. And I'm like, who really is there? What men are marriageable? So if a sister sees a brother, he's married already, he's still marriageable because we're Muslims. So he still has, space left to love more. But I started to kind of see the wisdom in that. And like Coach Nazir was saying, even if you're not Muslim, you can still see the value, So just because I didn't see it doesn't mean I didn't educate myself and then elevate and evolve into someone that could. So I think my raising had a lot to do with my struggle, blending.
Indeed. I think one of the challenges, well, you said, why do men, let me go back to the question really quick. So we said, why do men have a tendency for multiple wives? That's really how we're designed. We're created in that fashion. I mean, just looking at it on a basic primal biological level, we can have as many children. We don't have the issues that women have. Men and women are made for each other. They are not the same. Okay, a woman is not just an XX chromosome with a vagina, and a man is not a man that is a woman with a penis. Don't work like that. Okay, and I'm saying that, and I'm being a little facetious, but I'm really serious about that, because the whole campaign to against this, what they call toxic masculinity or masculinity in general, when there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. Masculinity is masculinity, femininity is femininity. It's neutral. All right. That's just the basic way stuff is. If somebody's being abusive, that's just a bad man.
Right.
Okay. Woman's being abusive, that's a bad woman. It has nothing to do with the masculinity
Right.
or femininity part. So we're designed that way, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're designed to be able to lead, to be strong, to grow, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that desire has been put in us. The challenge is those with morals need guidance in order to do it properly, not be oppressive, because we are the first to oppress ourselves and oppress the society, period. So that's the man part. That's easy to understand, easy to explain. We know this. The challenge comes in when over the last few hundred years, when monogamy has become the norm, now we look at it as though that's just what's normal and things are backwards, it's flipped upside down. So why are some women more open to it and others are not open to it? One, my belief is that it goes into our conditioning and our belief systems. So if you're in a certain country, you may believe certain things about the outside and foods and people and culture, and you go to a whole nother culture and things are different. And it just changes your mind a little bit, like, wow, things are different. It's not the way that I thought they were. So we begin to take in beliefs, especially over time, that, oh, okay, it's one man, one woman. We hear this in these fairy tales. We see it on TV, love stories and all this type of stuff. It's social conditioning engineered to say, oh, man is only supposed to be one woman. Okay, that's social engineering. We can accept that. All right, period. That's what it says. You say monogamy. Monogamy is known. Monogamy is not the oldest form of marriage, nor has it been the norm for a long time. And when you look at it, just basically right now, and again, we're not anti-monogamy, we're pro-morals, period. But we need to talk about this in particular because I think a lot of the pain and the stress comes from the shedding of the belief of something that you thought was so real and so strong and so true, and you recognize it's not. So come to that recognition causes this break from this belief from yourself, and it's not easy because we embodied it. All right, usually the women embodied it. That, oh, it's one man, woman. I'll be, oh, here's everything, and I'll do this and all this type of stuff. And he's my knight in shining armor, my hero. All this type of stuff. So our society really pushes that narrative as though that's normal, as though that's what's been around forever, and everything else. Similarly, and the only thing I can think of like that, at least with me, we're going back, is I used to believe in worship in a certain way. We'd be in the church, we do this and that, and I studied. We in Christian school, kindergarten to 10th grade. So I had all this type of stuff in school. And then in the whole community, it doesn't matter if you're talking about going to my relatives' Baptist church or my Pentecostal stuff, being raised up Lutheran, all this type of stuff. And then I'm studying, I'm getting into it, and I'm going into this sources and everything else. And then I'm like, hold up. The more I study on my own, I recognize I just followed it because my parents followed it. And they followed it because their parents followed it. They put me in school and actually studied it. And I'm like, yeah, this is not the truth, what you're telling me to do, yo. And that was a struggle. You know what I'm saying? So I disowned all organized religion. I was hurt, felt betrayed. People were saying, do this and this and that. And I got into this book, and never once did Jesus say, I'm God. Never did he say, worship me. Never did he say any of this topic. Never did he call himself son of God. So that was the type of pain. And I can only equate that with that shedding of belief and that kind of pain and that betrayal I felt with actually stripping away a belief that I thought was real. Similarly, a belief that people think is real is monogamy, just some normal, natural way. So I don't have to go far to point to politicians or celebrities or your neighbor, your uncle, your cousin, your daddy, your granddad, whoever it may be, that probably practiced monogamy in its original form, which it was designed for a man to be able to take care of one wife and whatever children that come from that one wife. But it was absolutely allowed and legal for him to have as many concubines, mistresses, jump down, side chicks, whatever you want to call it, boyfriends, girlfriends. He can have all that, but he's not responsible for that. Until we understand that monogamy was designed for a man and to protect himself and his pleasures, we're not really going to understand our normal, natural way of being. So that's why it can be so, in my opinion, my theory, that's why it can be so difficult when you're living in society that already had you socially engineered so well, whether it's through our devices and TV and stories and love stories and all this type of stuff, to believe that, oh, this is just the normal, natural way, when in reality, nah, it's not. And it doesn't get enough play, it doesn't get enough education. That's one of the reasons that we're out here. So polygyny is a form of marriage. Monogamy is a form of marriage. We want you to just be moral, period. All right. Do what works. All right. Be upfront, be honest, be yourself, be authentic, all of this type of stuff. This is important. All right. But we're not in that type of culture that does that or that says that. We're in a culture where this dude talking about, he's sitting at the little tiny desk, just blurting stuff out. No one can take him serious. And that's the president of the country. These are the people that we're talking about. This is the society we're dealing with. that engineers every single black show that you see or every single black movie, at least the majority of them come in like a Trojan horse. You got to have some gay stuff going on in it. Got to have a homosexual agenda in it. You know, so again, I'm, you know, not to go too far, but that's one of the reasons, at least in my theory, that you will see some people are more conditioned, some are less. Not that doesn't mean it's easy. It just means that we're dealing with reality. So I ain't talk too long with that.
Start doing training.
You know, and we have a few more minutes here, about 10 more minutes or so. Here's a question from YouTube. First of all, assalamu alaikum, everybody on YouTube. Akil, what's going on, bro? Good to see you again, of course. Hanifa, Camila. Where y'all from, actually? You know, too. We forgot to ask you that, but where y'all coming from? What part of the world? What part of the country? You know, what state you in? I guess that's the same thing as what part of the country. But yeah, so question. Sister says, you know, husband has children with his other wives, but she can't have children. So it makes her feel as though a failure or not good enough, and know it affects the relationship in a bad way. Any advice? South Carolina, California.
Here's one thing. I believe the way we feel about ourselves is a thing that really affects our relationships. You know, here's the thing. When we feel less than, when we feel a certain type of way, those are the things, because those are things that affect the relationships, because those are the things that we see. Those are things that's in the forefront of our minds. Those are things that are very large and, you know, just bright in our face. So when we're seeing the negative is going to happen. The negative is going to come. Same thing we talked about, even as far as in polygyny go, the husband could possibly be doing the same thing that he was doing with, you know, any other wives that he had before a new wife came along, but because of the mindset of saying that, okay, here's another person that's coming in and taking something away from me, and or this is being taken, and he'll be doing the same exact thing. He could probably actually be spending more time, because when he was working and doing all types of other stuff and hanging with the guys, he probably was going more. So, but now because it's another person there and he really wants to be fair, he's making sure that he is spending this, you know, more time. But as long as we see something different, our perception is always going to be our reality. So if we're looking at it as though I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, you know, I can't have kids, because naturally a woman should be able to do that. And you see these air quotes that I'm putting, you know, you not being able to have children does not make you less of a woman. It does not make you less of a wife. You know, it does not make you less of that type of person or less of a person. But you got to know that. You got to have the confidence and the value and the love for yourself to say, you know, I am enough. I am this. I am great. I am awesome. And I'm going to use that to improve my marriage. Another thing is, if your husband already knew that, you know, this is not something that just came out and everything like that. He married you. You know, that was not an issue for him. So, you know, allowing it to be an issue for you, that's going to rub off in your marriage. It's going to rub off in your relationship, because there's nothing that he would do or anybody can do to make you feel better if you're not willing to feel better. There's nothing he can do. So then he feels some type of way because you're feeling some type of way. It's that perpetual, you know, snowball effect of negativity. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're valuing yourself enough and making sure you know that you're not less than. And that's going to feed into your relationship, feed into your marriage.
You good? All right, brother asked the question. Hey, first of all, let me shout out some folks that coming through from Cali. That was hard part. South Carolina representing. New York to North Carolina, North Kakalaki. Yeah. See, look, YouTube, you
start singing that P.D. Pablo song.
Don't throw it up. All right. So, brother asked the question. He said he met a sister.
Okay.
No, that's not that one.
North Carolina.
Yeah, that's not him.
What did you say? If you don't give it, don't throw it up. Hey, that's a different one. Don't start no stuff.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know.
Wherever else. So the brother asked the question. He says, how can he announce to his wife that he intends or has proposed to marry a new wife? All right. All right. I think you're asking what another brother asked the other day when we were in our Let's Talk Polygyny group, which is a private group. If you're not in our Let's Talk Polygyny group, join that group. How are we not making any announcements? Yeah, because we got all these inboxes and stuff like that. A couple things. All right, so people are asking like, what y'all got anything for Cyber Week or Black Friday and all that stuff? Yeah, you go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/Black Friday. All right, you'll see a really good deal and stuff there. Also, we've also launched our YouTube membership. So if it's your first time coming back to our channel, and right now you can actually look at our channel and it says join. So we have 3 different levels of membership starting at $4.99. Okay, so let me go ahead and insert that to let you know when it comes to that. So we have different levels of memberships there on YouTube, and we have some other deals and stuff for Cyber Week and all that stuff going on during the shopping season. But I think what the brother is asking is what another brother asked. He said, how can I tell my wife I have a need for another wife and have her accept it? All right, so bro, there are no magic words. That's not gonna happen. All right, there could, it's not like, hey, you know what? I decided to marry another wife, so I proposed to this sister. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. What's on TV? That's not
No.
It may not. It's highly unlikely to just be as smooth or simple as that. All right. Now I have to talk to you as a man, because as a man, you're the man with a family. You're supposed to be the leader of the family. All right. So there are other responsibilities and everything that's going to come back to you as the man of the family. Something goes wrong with the finances, something go down with the house, people looking at you. All right. Because that's your responsibility as the man of the family. So that means you have to deal with stuff, whether it's your fault, it's not your fault, you delegated something, somebody else didn't go through. Now you need to follow up and get stuff done. Now, it's easier said than done, but that means as the leader of the family, you have to have those difficult discussions and conversations. When and how is really up to you, but since you already know that conversation needs to be had, you need to be kind of finding a way to do that. As an example, what I would probably suggest is, all right, bro, you're interested in polygyny. No surprise. Sisters, if you're married, if you're looking to be married, it's highly likely your husband may be interested in polygyny. You don't need to tell him this. It doesn't matter his religion or background. It's in us. Okay? Now, whether or not he decides to, exert that or exercise it, whatever, that is what it is. Even if your husband tell you, no, baby, I'm not interested in polygyny. When you ask him that, he's just trying to take care of your heart and who you are. It is what it is. When I talk to that same brother, if I talk to that same brother, over 99% of the time, it's, I'm not going to say though. Yeah, so how does that really work? And if I can do that or blah, blah, blah. They ask these questions. All right, and it's funny because I was watching something online, Judge Lynn or whatever, she had a divorce court case with this polygynist guy, right? And she's not even looking at the facts of the case. She want to know how this really worked out and all that, trying to get all these details when she should have did her own research and focus on the facts of the case. That's just my opinion. Anyway, what I would suggest, bro, is going to our YouTube channel and watching some videos with your wife. It's not only about polygyny, it's not only the polygyny channel. We do stress polygyny because it doesn't get its fair share of airplay. Right. And it's a major solution to a lot of today's problems. Yeah. Okay. And of course, I don't need to say when it's practiced right. You know why? Because nobody says that with monogamy. Right. You know what? You should get married. And I support marriage as long as it's practiced right. Right. Nobody does that. Of course, it goes without saying you should be trying to practice it right and being on a higher level. Not getting married for the sake of marriage. That's immature. But go to the channel, follow some, check out some different stuff and so on, because that's going to spark interest. Like somebody probably going to see that we have a video talking about polygyny. Likely your wife, if you're watching it with her. That's enough. That's kind of a hint for the, a word to the wise. And you might need to start that discussion conversation. And you need to go ahead and take the temperature of the water and whatever else that needs to happen. But if you are going to marry another wife and you want it to work successfully, then you have to increase your leadership ability. Again, that's why we talk about some of our memberships and everything that's there, because brothers may intend to do right sometimes, but they don't equip themselves or they don't know. Like myself, I didn't know initially. I knew about leadership and some different things, but when it comes to relationships and family and balancing emotions and all this stuff, it's a process. Okay, so prayerfully. And
when you're not honest, you're wasting time. So it's best to be honest so that you can plan things accordingly. I wish I had been honest quicker. I wouldn't have wasted so much time myself. So definitely talk to her about it sooner rather than later. Inshallah, that helps.
Mr. John Pastor, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you showing love for the show. Now, somebody asked also, and we've heard this before too, Can you do polygyny in the United States while it's mainly criminalized? All right, a couple things. One, you have to understand what you're not from. It doesn't seem that you're from the United States, at least by the name. I know some people have said that about me too, but you will understand what really criminalized. I give an example. Adultery is a crime in the United States. It's on the books as a crime. It's against statutes. Nobody's getting prosecuted for adultery. All right, it can have effects in civil cases and stuff like that. Now, it's understanding also a difference between what's lawful and legal. We have a whole YouTube video about that, talking about that. All right, and think about what you're asking us, and then go turn to what channel, like TLC or something, and go watch Sister Wives and Seeking Sister Wives. Go look at all the television shows that promote polygyny.
That are shot here.
Yeah, that are filmed right here in the U.S. They get TV deals and get broadcast into millions of homes.
Yeah.
All right, and then look at whether or not these people are getting locked up and criminalized and everything else before you ask us that, bro. No worries though, it's all good. You might not know the shows. What's up going on, Cuzzo? Aaron, doing very well. So, how do you say that name right there?
Chloe?
Hey, I don't know. To me, it look like Cholo. I'm thinking about the Puerto Rican side. I don't know. Hey, Capone. Hey, all right, Chloe. All right, sorry about that. I'm just hey.
Cholo.
Look, I got a cousin named Cholo, or
no,
uncle.
you who?
Yeah. Uncle. All right. I'm not married yet. Soon. No, you haven't. He's in Puerto Rico. So soon. She's
go ahead.
Gonna get married soon, inshallah, and pro poly. She's rather not be around her co-wife when that time happens. Of course, she can be cordial with the co, but don't want to go shopping with her, have sister's day or any of that. There's no compulsion in Islam, but am I wrong for just wanting to be my future vows to keep his wives and marriages separate? Please help me, as I'm 30, and I'm asking, and I have brothers asking for my wakil. Shukran, jazakallah khair. I mean, no, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, polygyny is not, there's no cookie cutter for it. Right. And how different things look. It really depends on more of your husband's vision and how he wants to lead the family versus anything else. Like our marriages, we live in separate homes. Okay, well, we don't live in separate. They live in separate homes. I live in both homes. All right, at different times, right? Clearly. Like that was not necessary. Anyway, so we have different homes. All right, so we come together and stuff like that, but it took time to get there. So many times when we tell people, you know, don't look at our chapter 10 and compare it with your chapter 0, your chapter 1 or 4 or 5 or whatever. Everything looks different. If you want to have it separately and be separate and it's cool and cordial, that's it. Right. The person has rights over you to be peaceful and cordial, respectful, and that's that. We good. You have to be friends. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be besties and do all that kind of stuff. Maybe if you want to, or you could always change your mind. You know what I'm saying? So you're human, you're an adult, so it's all good. No, I'm not from Puerto Rico. My grandmother's from Puerto Rico. My mother Boricua. So yes. All right, back up. Now we're gonna wrap up in a few minutes. So yeah, you got to man up, indeed.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, because you talk about honesty. You're talking about honesty and being truthful and you know being upfront, right? That's so important. It should go without saying, but every culture across the planet looks down on lying, all right, and respects truth. That's just a universal principle. So when you give them the option, let them know where you are, where you stand, what something is, they may not like it, right? But minimally they respect it, yes, and have the option to make a fair, objective decision on what to do from that point forward.
I've heard so many women even say that. There's like, give me the option. Just give me that. Give me, you know, the option of whether to stay or go. Right. Because if you're not being honest with me, then, you know, it's almost like this control factor. And it's like to me and to other women that said, it's like, I feel that you lack the confidence. You lack the confidence in us, and you lack the confidence in yourself because you felt you had to hide something or manipulate something. And you know, and we're human. We make mistakes, you know, things like that. But the thing is, yeah, honesty, that's all around the board. That's, you know, that's what people value. Like I said, I'm like, at least if I'm honest and I let you know something, you can't ever say you didn't know. You know, you could never say that, well, I didn't know that, or, you know, you just couldn't say that, period. You know, as long as you're honest, you know, people can respect the honesty. You want to be respected, or you want to be? That's the whole thing. Like, I just want them to love me, so I'm gonna lie about it. So there's no effort, but you know, they
Like a
respect you. I'm
boy
like,
and-
I'd rather be respected.
You can't move like a boy and then expect to be treated like a man.
Mhm.
Can't move like a girl and
Sure.
be expected to treat
Treated
like a
like a
woman.
woman, exactly.
Facts on facts on facts.
That's why my co-wife and I, look, shameless plug, no? In our True Queens course, we talk about that royal versus ratchet, being, you know, that little girl growing up to know what your identity is as a true queen. And during our cyber sale, our cyber week, whatever you want to call it, it's half off. So yes, you want to check
Tap on
out
that,
what
y'all.
it is. Go
Yes.
to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/Black Friday. Is that right? Black Friday.
Check it out.
I, you know, I just have to put it in because I was like, wait a minute, when she said that, made me think of, you know,
Have you
our
outlined
trainings.
the stages that a first wife goes through on the way to acceptance? I would like to have this information so that yes and no.
Well,
Yes and no. Because the book ain't released until the beginning of the year with this whole COVID stuff. So
yeah.
yes, but the
However-
book ain't done. But sorry.
However, we were talking about our RMIC Relationship Mastery Inner Circle membership, and please visit outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM for relationship mastery. And we do trainings that are really deep, and you get workbooks, you get audio about different aspects of marriage and polygyny. So I do touch on some of those topics about being an initial wife, and especially with our podcast, we talk about that as well. And it's really, really great information. I wish I had it because I was looking for it years ago and there wasn't anything. So this is really valuable information, guys. And we worked really diligently, and we're dedicated to what we've created with those different programs. So please visit outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM for relationship mastery.
What's up with the book?
Yeah.
Get your copy or 2 or 3 or 4.
My copy.
Stay on the email list. We're gonna let you know once it's ready. We're gonna
Yeah.
everybody's on the email list is gonna get the email anyway in advance of everything. So that'd be excellent. Appreciate that.
We're
though.
excited.
Oh yeah, really quickly, y'all. For those who adore their beautiful kimars, scarves, headscarves, some say hijabs, and they want tutorials. I'm not gonna do no tutorials.
Yeah,
Please stop asking about
Yeah,
tutorials.
we're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna do that. All right, so that's for another channel or something like that. But nope, not gonna do that unless y'all want to sponsor something, and then they can go ahead and coordinate some stuff. But yeah, we're not gonna do that. So please don't ask about that right anymore
Because we really want to focus on, we really want to focus on marriage and polygyny and relationships. Like that's that's gonna come first.
Okay, cool.
You know?
So we wrapped up these questions here in sisters groups. I'm on Facebook. There's some sister groups.
Yeah.
Our group that we admin is called Let's Talk Polygyny. It's a mixed group, Muslims, non-Muslims, because polygyny is the form of marriage. So we're Muslims, so of course we're talking about from the Islamic viewpoint, but we're open to everybody having this conversation. So that's Let's Talk Polygyny. And of course our page is Outstanding Personal Relationships. That's pretty much our handle, except on IG that's too long. So it's Outstanding Relationships. But any sisters only groups is what sisters asking about.
Yeah,
reach out to us.
Reach out because I can't think off the top of my head because I don't want to give you the wrong names of them.
All right, no worries. All right, cool. We should be
Great
good.
questions.
I mean, we appreciate your du'as from all over the world. I'm telling you, it's amazing to get. So, with that being said, we know that some of you have football to get to, some of you have work to get to, some of you are chilling, some of you need to get to our YouTube channel, sign up for the pages, watch different podcasts. Others need to get to the website stuff, take advantage of some different discounts, and just let you know. There is no discount. We're going to set up your relationships. If you're waiting to have discounts, then you can be waiting for quite a long time. And to be real, it's not worth it.
How
It isn't.
important is, you having an outstanding relationship, like how important is it and how soon you want to start working on it? Because it takes work. The only time success comes before work is in a dictionary. So, if you want to work on it and you want to have it, then you have to put in the time, put in the work, and put in the investment. It's your investment.
Joseph, good question. He says, as head of the household, how do you organize issues like health insurance, division of wealth between wives, family when I die, as I can only have one legal wife in the U.S. under the law? All right. One, we answered this we answered different parts of this on YouTube, all right, because it goes into a lot of different detail. I did a course, I did a training, 5 workshops actually, on going from boyhood, from being a boy to a man, and then from man to a man of value, and from a man of value to a king. And I addressed these different topics and different issues in there, and we even have different things like different POAs and stuff like that are downloadable. That's in a course that I did. It's the 5-day successful marriage workshop, King's Edition, because in Wives, they also did a 5-day course, the Queen's Edition. So both of those, you can get 10 workshops, all right, over 75 pages of different workshops and downloads and all this stuff, downloadable audios, everything I'm talking to you about, because that's a deep question. That's not something that's just, hey, this is what we did. You know, it takes time and it's a process with that. But if you go to our Black Friday special, you're going to find that there. So it's outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/Black Friday. You're going to see the Queen's Edition. You're going to see the King's Editions. We from the Midwest in the United States, by the way, sis who's asking that. But Joseph, really good question, because that's very important. Now, the whole, because again, legal versus lawful, totally different things. But contracting and understanding that is an unlimited constitutional right. So you can set yourself up. You should set things up, because we are not guaranteed to live another moment, but we know we are going to die. So a wise man wants to set things up properly for the fam to live beyond him. All right, that's more legacy, that's more king talk, but we get to that in that course that goes into those details. So very good question. We're about to go ahead and sign out. It's already 12:30 where we are. It's time to pray. We appreciate all of y'all being here. And we're going to sign out with what we do with GLC.
Yes, make sure you guys are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Peace. And here's the awkward moment I can get up and hit stop on these different things. All right, y'all. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah. All right. Give us a second. We are setting up and